Let me just make my Lego tower. It's so tall. Whoops! Fell. Well, I can create it all over again. That's exactly how children start learning, by playing. For a child, their entire world is a box of Legos. To create, to take it apart, to put it back again in a different design, in a different model, in a different shape, different size. They love to be creative. They're so creative. But as we grow up, we stop being creative. We stop innovating. We stop experimenting. Because whatever kind of creativity, it shakes the normal. It shakes the status quo that we're in. And we as grown ups love our normal. We don't like to change much. While I was growing up, I loved to play games like Scrabble, like Monopoly. And then when I started teaching, I realized what is the one thing that every child wants to do at any time of the day? It was to game. And I thought if I could package the knowledge that I wanted to give to my children in a box of games, the children would be so happy to take it. And that's exactly what happened. As a guest today, we have someone who believes in the same. She loves to innovate. She loves to create games for her children. She's been an educator for the past 13 years. She teaches computer science at National Public School, HSR, Bangalore. Please welcome Nimi Kumar. Hi, Nimi.
Hi, Sapna.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
So great to see you.
Yes. How about you?
Oh, doing fine. I think thanks to the digital platform, we are at least able to see each other, which would have been so difficult if we were not in this beautiful digital world, I must say.
True, true. I'm a total digital fan, so anything digital is good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Nimi, we are going to talk about a topic today which is close to your heart as well as mine. But before we get into a discussion, um, what we'll do is we'll do a little game, a warm up, just like you warm up before an exercise. So, I have a pen and paper here. Do you have a pen and paper there with you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Sapna.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I say three, two, one, go, both of
Mhm.
us have to write our names backwards. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Correct? And
Okay.
whoever writes first quickly can, shout out yippee, or you can just ring a bell if you have a bell around you or whatever. Okay?
I have a smaller name. Yes, I have a smaller name.
Oh, I know. I have to really fight it this time. Ready?
Yep.
Three, two, one, go, Nimi.
Oh my, it's quite difficult. Yes, I did. Done.
Oh man, I have just about reached three-fourths of my name, Nimi. Pays to have a smaller name, I guess.
Right.
So good. You're the winner of the first round. Super duper hit. Right. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Nimi.
I started my career as a computer programming and programmer and then slowly moved on to teaching. Now, I've been teaching now for the past 13 years
Wow.
and I've absolutely loved every single day of my teaching. I'm sure you'll agree with me, Sapna, when I say that no 2 days in the same classroom can be the same, right? It's so
Totally.
exciting.
Absolutely.
I never felt like I've been a teacher. I feel every time I walk into a class, there is so much that I can learn from the students while they are learning from me.
Oh yes.
I, yeah, I think the entire teaching learning process has now become so much a part of me that I
Right.
think it's become my story now.
Absolutely. And I think you're so true in saying that, each day, each moment in the class is a learning, I think, for the teachers as well, because that's, I think, the biggest message that you're giving right now, that as teachers, we do need to learn from our children. Wonderful. I think that's amazing. Great. So what, for me, games have been a very important part of my life, Nemi. So what was your game, your favorite game growing up? What was it?
The same board games that you mentioned today. I think Monopoly, Ludo, Snakes and Ladder. Yeah, and I think when it came to computers, I loved Mario, Pac-Man, and Prince 2 was my always favorite game, which
Favorite?
Prince had to go through a lot of hurdles, and the end of the game was to rescue the princess. But I don't think I reached that level because it really required a lot of effort. But yes, I did enjoy doing
Absolutely.
that.
I think it's somewhat something like even for Mario Kart, there is that the Rainbow Road, which is like the scariest for me. I mean, I always, whenever I used to play with the kids, with my kids, I used to say, I'm not going to play that one because it's like I never finished that race. It was never ending. So,
Yes.
so great, Nimi. So, should we jump into our, wonderful talk that we're going to have?
Okay, let's go
But
for it.
to begin with, what I've done is I've gamified our session today. Since that is what we're going to do. So I have this, a box, a nest of box, one box inside the other. And to get to the questions that we are going to talk about, they're all logged inside. And every time we need to get a question out, I'm going to give you a clue. The clue is written here. I'm going to read out the clue to you. And there is a 3-digit number lock here. It's locked. See, check. So only when you give me the 3-digit code, I'm going to put that code and we're going to unlock the box and get our question out.
Okay.
Are you ready? Up for it?
Okay, I guess so.
Yes, from one gamer to the other. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, so your first clue to get the big question today that we are going to talk about, we're going to give you the first clue for that. So here it goes. 100 little arrows, okay? 100 little arrows, 100 little bows, okay? Down fell the box they were in, and 5 of each broke. So there were 100 little arrows, 100 little bows, and down fell the box they were locked in, and 5 of each broke. So do you have the 3-digit code that I need for it?
Is it 190?
Correct, absolutely. Woo. Now let me see first whether it works. Okay, 1 and 9. Yes, it did. Thank you. You got it, Mimi. Let's get the first question out. Okay, so the first question out is gamification the mantra for happy classrooms? What are your views on that?
In my view, Sapna, I think a happy classroom is one in which the teachers are happy as well as the students are happy. True. And I think a teacher is happy if her students are engaged and excited about the class, and a student is happy if the student is able to learn at his or own pace and do not have to rush through or not follow what's happening in class. So I have a small gamification lesson here for you. So let me just answer your question with can I share the screen with you?
Yes. That's wonderful. So I gamified the question and you're gamifying the answer for me. I'm loving it already, Nimi.
Yeah. So here I go, Sapna. I have a small lesson here. The topic that we are going to learn today is gamification.
Okay.
Right. So it's a self-directed lesson, and you need to complete each level of questioning before you move on to the next part of the question. So as a teacher, I'm sure that you have understood what it is that we are learning. And I hope I've shared.
What is gamification?
Are you able to hear it?
Gamification is the application of gaming mechanics to non-gaming environments. What it does.
Yeah, so that was just a small intro, and there could be more of it and probably a video. So now we go on to doing an activity which would reinforce what we have just learned, right?
So the student, give a little talk about the topic that you're going to tell the children, and then you put this quiz forward.
Yes, the student is sitting, every student is sitting in front of his or her own computer. So they are watching it at their own pace. If they don't understand they can watch it again, and then when they are ready for it, they move on to take up this activity.
Okay. Okay.
So the activity is to fill in the blanks with the appropriate words. So hopefully the student has understood. So they just come back and say gamification is the application of gaming mechanics into non-gaming environments. So once this child has put it in any order that he thinks right, he just goes on. If he doesn't know it, he goes back for help, or he
Okay.
makes a mistake, he resets it, and otherwise he just checks for the answer, right? So he's got it right, so it moves on to the child has completed the level, and we move on to the next topic that we have
Okay.
designed for him. So the
Right.
next topic is probably a diagram or probably a map or something, different parts. You just need to memorize something. So that's a small activity or a puzzle that has been created out of this diagram, which the student needs to.
Okay. So this needs to be the final picture, right? What you,
Yeah, yes,
okay.
true. Yeah. So the child comes back. Now this is a jumbled puzzle that we have created. Now
Right.
the child needs to try it out. He starts attempting it, and somewhere in between, he doesn't know what comes next.
Yeah.
He just goes back and he can view the puzzle again. So there is no limit on the
Oh,
number of times that he could try it out. There's no restriction that he needs to get it in the first attempt, and then he comes back again. He could reset it and then start all over again if he had made a mistake. So it basically takes away the stress of learning. The student is not he may be distracted when he was watching, or it's possible that he can do it as many times as he wants. So we will,
and I think the objective is for the child to learn. So it doesn't matter if
exactly,
he's taking 2 tries or 4 tries or 5 tries at it.
yeah, exactly. So then he finishes the puzzle, and then the lesson ends with us giving him a feedback that he completed the first level in 1 attempt, completed level 2 in 2 attempts.
Right.
So there is some feedback that he can get. So
Yeah.
that's what I feel a gamified lesson should look like. Or
Absolutely. And I think it was so interesting because, I mean, for us, because we were just talking about gamification and you gamified the answer for me. That was amazing. And for our viewers also. And you shared with us 2 techniques that teachers can use, like you can, and this was created by you yourself, right? This is for,
yes,
yeah, yeah. It was
yeah.
not some online site that you use. This is your own
Uh,
creation.
yeah, this was all just created in PowerPoint. Yes,
Right,
yes.
right. And it's as simple as that, right? You can just do
Yeah,
so much on PowerPoint. That's what the
correct.
message
We
again.
can customize the lessons to as and how we want. As many activities we have, like I've used a range of activities like snakes and ladders, bingo, you name it, tic-tac-toe, word search, the limit, unjumble the words. These are all games that I have used. And there are the limit, it's just you're up to your imagination. The game that you could come up to, we could, create that on PowerPoint itself,
Absolutely.
nothing more than that.
That's true. I think once you start thinking in that direction, I think the ideas come to you, and then it's just about you sitting down and putting it together, right? That's the
But
main.
that's the only thing that takes time. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to do that.
So when did you fall in love with gamification, Nimi? When did it start for you?
Yeah, I started when as a teacher, I've been observing my students, and I noticed that the most exciting part of their day is the PE period. That is what I look forward to in the entire day. And it would always be at the back of my mind. I wish they could have that excitement, for all the subjects that they are learning, that kind of excitement they should come to school with. So I had another colleague of mine who was equally passionate and excited like me. And this was before I even heard the word gamification. This was just something that we came up with. She was a chemistry teacher. So we said, let's try out, a chapter, introducing a chapter to the students in chemistry. So, and the only thing that came to mind was PowerPoint. That was something that was easily available on my system.
Yeah.
So we just quickly, created a lesson, something like this. And we tried it out with the students, and they were like, they just loved it. And the students who were otherwise probably disinterested in the class, suddenly I saw the spark in them, and they were like running around and helping their friends. No, this is how you need to do it, and this is how you could proceed. So
Right.
it helped me,
Amazing.
get it. Amazing.
Absolutely. And I think the look on their faces would have been like such a wonderful, cherishable moment for you forever, because I mean, to see your children happy in class, and they must have been like wowed by your
There
lesson.
was absolute silence, Sapna, in the class. Like everybody was like involved and totally into the game, trying to figure out how they proceed further. And I got another opportunity while doing my PGCI course. We got to do some research. So I picked up gamification. By then I had an idea what gamification is. So
Yeah.
I did some research on it, and the result again was the students wanted it in every subject possible. They said we would love to have more of.
True, because I think games is something that they are ready for any time of the day. Like we talk about the prime time and the low time, during
Yes,
the day for teaching and education. But I feel that there is no low time for children to game, because they're ever ready. And if we, package our games, I mean, our knowledge in the form of games, I think it's always, they'll be ready to take it.
exactly.
Absolutely. So, but going forward in that direction, I just wanted to have your views on, why do you think then that we as teachers sometimes don't want to use games in the class, in spite of,
Okay. I think like from the online perspective, I'm sure you would know more about how it works with the online, offline. But I think in the online, it's very difficult for us to find those kind of games that we require. There may be some games available, but on a particular topic that I would like to teach, it's very difficult to go and pick one right off the net, or
right,
something that is easily you can go and purchase. It's not custom made, like there is
right,
something, but it may not suit my requirement. So
right,
probably that could be one of the reasons. If to create one yourself, there is a little bit of programming or little bit of
right.
technical knowledge that you need to use, which is again, um, you
One of
difficult.
those, yeah. And also I feel that somewhere in a teacher's mind is also the fear of losing class control. If I want to gamify my class, I might lose class control. That could be one of the thoughts that go through, every teacher's mind as well. That
Probably, yes, yeah, of course, yes.
and
And as we move from teachers driven classes, this is a good example of a teacher controlled class, but it is entirely child driven.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, I think sometimes it's also that, to keep your child alive as you grow up, you need
Yeah,
to, I feel that you need to keep gaming yourself also, because, the child in you always wants to play, right?
yes,
They love stories and they love games. And as you grow up, you stop keeping that child inside you, getting all those goodies. And if you keep doing that as you grow up also, then those things come naturally to you to give back to your children as well.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So,
And I guess even making, sorry,
no, please go
I,
ahead.
yeah, I guess even making these games would, or designing your lessons around these games would involve a considerable amount of time. Like as a teacher, if I had to design a game which had to be completed in say half an hour, I would require at least a week's effort of creating the game, right from designing to developing. So it takes, and the teachers are, as it is, multitasking a huge
Right, right.
amount of tasks. So probably they find it a bit difficult to fit in. So maybe that could also be one of the
Absolutely. Yeah.
reasons that that they are
But
not
then,
able to do basis.
right. So if we just talked about all the problems that the teachers would probably face if they wanted to gamify their lessons. So, according to you, what could be the, key ingredients for teachers to keep in mind if they wanted to gamify their classrooms to make it, absolutely effective? What could be those pointers that you would like to give the teachers that it would become effective?
Yeah, I would say that the most important would be to design games that are appropriate for that particular age group, or the games that interest that particular age group of students, so that they are excited about it. probably includes some more gaming ideas. Of course, finishing the game in itself is a big motivation for the students,
Yeah.
but probably have a leaderboard or have something where they win some prizes during the when they are playing the game. All that is again something which motivates the student.
Right.
And then provide scaffolding during the lesson. Right? The child should not have to ask somebody else for help, or probably may hesitate to ask the teacher for help. So within the lesson itself, the child should have everything available in his surroundings, so that he could make use of that, and then he would be able to figure it out on his own.
Right. And this is what we're talking about if you're playing online, right? But like if you're in a classroom and if you're doing gamification a non-digital way, and in that sphere, probably you would be encouraging a lot of communication also between the children, if they're if you're gamifying and making the children
skills
work
come
in
into
team.
play. Yes.
So
Group activities and things, how they interact as a group.
absolutely. And I think what you said, keeping a valid challenge level depending on the capabilities of the children, and you can also design your game according to probably the if you've teamed them up in different levels of their capabilities, you can have different variations to the games as well.
Yeah,
Right.
of course. And of course, feedback, giving them a constructive feedback is not possible when we are in a group of maybe 30 or so students. It's impossible for us to individually go and give feedback. But with the game itself can be designed in such a way that it provides individual feedback to each of the students. That could also help.
Absolutely. And I think also that if it is, suppose your game design is more team-based game design, so children learning from their peers is also a very, very big plus from gamification, because then you are not having too much of that competitive. It's a very healthy competition that you're bringing in, and the ones who are fast learners can help the ones who are needing a little help, and because they want the entire team to win. So the process is for them to learn along, right? Absolutely. So that was, I think, amazing that we saw how beautifully that you can bring in a lot of positivity into the classroom, bringing in a lot of healthy communication by gamifying your lessons. So if we want to move to the next question, Nimi, you know what we have to do again. So we have the next segment in our box again, and I'm going to read you the second clue. And again, it is a 3-digit code for my lock here. So here goes. Are you ready for the number 2 clue?
Yes.
We're talking in basketball language here. So imagine a game between Lakers and Celtics or something. And so 23 pointers in the last game.
Okay.
25 2-pointers too.
Okay.
23 pointers in the last game. 25 2-pointers too. That was the score in the end when the final buzzer blew. So what do you think is the 3-digit code I'm asking for? So there are 23 pointers and 25 2-pointers too. That was the score at the end when the final buzzer blew.
110. Do I add the 2?
Oh, great. Yes. So 23 pointers is 60, 25 2-pointers is 50, and we have the answer 110. Fantastic, Nimi. Let me just punch it in. 110. Yes. Got it. Thank you for the answer. And let's see what question comes out of there. Okay, here we have. So this is something related to the times that we are in, Nimi. This COVID-19 virus has pushed us really all as teachers into a corner. We've been, asked to change so much in ourselves. So what do you think, from your point of view, has been the biggest struggle for teachers at this time?
Right. It came at a time when I think most of the teachers were about to get into the summer holidays, of course, which was something that was totally
Washed up.
unexpected. And yes, it was totally washed. And we came to a stage where we realized that the only way that we could reach out to our students and be able to get in touch with them would be through an online platform. So we started off with having absolutely no idea where to start from, what kind of a platform are we going to communicate with the students. We started off from there. Me being a computer science teacher, I probably was at a slightly better advantage, in the sense that I wouldn't say in any way I was better. I had no clue about how the uh, group, uh, the video communication works and the different features that are available. We were totally clueless. We had never looked
You,
at those options.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but then as the teachers are, as we always are, everybody rises up to the occasion. So everybody doubled up the work that they were doing, and nobody gave up. We had a lot of practice sessions where we tried out with each other. But I must tell you, Sapna, nothing prepared us for that first day that we went into class with
Oh,
the students, because we are so used to going into a class, noisy class full of students, excited, buzzing with activity, and we just had to see those initials on the screen. So that was something that was, I
yeah.
think, my first class I just couldn't teach because it was so difficult to just talk to a blank screen. But then I think over time now we have all got used to it, and yeah, we have.
So I think that, like what you said, that since you are a computer science teacher, there's so many things that would have probably, I mean, in the course of learning as well, they would have probably come to you a little easily than to those who were absolutely not from a computer science background. So I'm sure for them the struggle would have been like, you know, twice as much, because they needed to upgrade
Yeah,
themselves in a lot many ways.
yeah. But I guess, yeah, the necessity to want to be with your students was so challenging that everybody just rose up to it. And
Absolutely. And I
it
think in a way, if you look at it in a positive way, I would say that it's been, it's been a very big learning for all of us, because the technology was anyways there, right? I think we never felt the need, because I think there is nothing better than an in classroom teaching. Definitely. I mean, that's what my view is. I don't know how
Yeah,
you.
no, Sapna, even I would beg to differ, of course.
Yeah.
When it comes to technology, there is something there was something that we all knew was missing, and we never knew what it was and how we could bring about a change. But I think this has taught us that we can have even post pandemic, we could probably have a good mix of both offline and online. Like, I wouldn't call that offline, but I mean, go on in the classroom sessions. Of course, nothing can replace a classroom session,
Right.
but the features that we now have realized exist with the online sessions is that
Right.
we can individually communicate, or individually help out each of the students as and when they require. So that is something that I think we should keep going even post pandemic.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, do you think that now that you must have been through so many training sessions and so many practice sessions with the online classes, do you feel that the teachers are now feeling comfortable, going through all these challenges?
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely, yes, of course. The teachers are always, like, we have been into a month of teaching now, and I think they are all absolutely loving it and really having a
Because there are lots
enjoying
of.
the experience while it is, while it is there.
Right. So, what has been like a magic bean for you? How did you reach your children through your online class? What was any day that you felt that you were able to reach them better than the previous day? Any specific magic bean for our viewers? How you can.
No, every day, like I said, every day is a new learning in a classroom. Some days you come out of the classroom feeling, oh, I wish it went totally wrong. It was not how I wanted my class to go. And
Right.
so then you double your efforts, and the next day you go into class fully prepared. So there are certain things, like now I have included something where I have a quote for the day, which I probably in my regular classes I never had. So now I spend at least half an hour browsing the net, with a
Right.
quote which I would like to share with my students. So that is something. Then I have a small game before I start the class, so which was
Absolutely.
trying to make most of the time that we have with them,
So are
So
your sessions generally, the video is off, or do you ask your children to,
sorry, I didn't get you. Sorry.
do you ask your children to leave the video on, or is it just an audio session generally?
No, the students, it's generally an audio session because of the bandwidth and
Right.
other issues. But the lower grade, the smaller kids love to turn the video on and they love to
So
chat for
do
some
they
time.
play pranks on you as well? I mean, do they do that on teachers, switching on their camera and making faces and things like that?
I know they haven't done that as yet, but yes, they do try. They do try to,
Oh, I hope
to
I've not given the
take
wrong
control.
ideas to the children. That's not what I meant. I was like, because
Uh,
children, they have that naughtiness in them, and for them also, I'm sure it's a absolutely new thing that they are trying out, right?
but Sapna, it's something that they are more comfortable. I must say that's something that they are more comfortable with than
Right,
us. So
right.
it makes us work even more harder to
Yeah.
get there.
And again, that thing, comes in where we say that before, all through for so many years, we have been talking about the digital, taking over the child's life, adding the screen time every day. It is increasing with all the gadgets they are on, and we've been debating how to, create a balance between that as a teacher, as a parent, as a school, incorporating policies so that the level of digital and the non-digital remains comfortable for the child. So what do you think, how can we create a balance like that?
I think we are already doing that to some extent, like only when necessary, we have them online with us, and most of the work that they need to do can be done offline, like when they are not interacting or on the computer screen, right? So there could be activities that you could just give them to do at home. It's just the concepts can be taught when we are online. So that way we reduce the amount of screen time that the student
Right,
is.
right, right. And I think it is necessary also that an online classroom having a little bit of an in classroom feel, like you said that you try and gamify your sessions, or for example, what we are doing, we are on a digital platform and we are kind of gamifying our questions and answers. So I think it just builds a connect between the teacher and the student if we bring the two together, right?
So true, Sapna, yes.
And I think in that way both of us are two sides of the same coin, right? Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed calling you on for this talk, because till now whenever we used to meet as talking about as teachers, and I would be talking about how much fun I have in class, playing with them, designing games which were all hands on, and you talking about how it was only digital, and see where we are because of the COVID virus, that we have to merge the two together to
Yeah.
make our education 100%.
Correct. I think this was in the coming, like it was something that had to, finally, I think we have realized that now we can have a balance
Between the two, yes, yes.
between
and
the two.
and
Yes.
because I think you cannot imagine the world without the digital. It is there to stay, and that is the forward, that's the step forward, right? You have to go forward
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
that.
That's where today's generation is most comfortable, and that is what comes naturally to them. So I think as teachers and as educators, we need to go out there and reach out to them in a way that they would understand and they would be open to learning.
Right, right. And also we as teachers also need to upgrade ourselves, because I think that's what happened, because I know it is one of those difficult times that we have been
Technology.
in. But if we take it as a learning, I think all of us have upgraded ourselves to another level, to reach our
Yeah.
children. That's
Yes.
great. So should we jump into our third and final clue, Nimi? I have my
Okay.
third box right here. This is the third and final clue. If you crack it,
Yeah.
we will declare the winner, because definitely gamification has to have a winner. That is the, push that children have. Finally, there has to be a winner, whether it is an individual or a team, right? And that drives the whole gamification.
A reward, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So are you ready for your third clue? And again, the lock is there for a 3-digit lock code. The clue 3 is, I ate 5 scoops of chocolate. I ate 5 scoops of chocolate and 3 of berry blue. Okay, 5 scoops of chocolate and 3 of berry blue. Times 100 were the calories. I had to burn 2. I did indulge in a lot. So 5 scoops of chocolate, 3 of berry blue, times 100 were the calories. I had to burn 2. So what do you think is the 3-digit code I need?
800.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. Let me just punch in. Okay. Absolutely. Here we go. We get the third and the final lock out. And let's dig in for the final question. So we kind of, we started from how things were, how things are in the present, and how gamification has, changed the face of our education system now. I would like your views on what are the big benefits, if we can just sum it up for our viewers. What are the big benefits of gamification as a teaching tool?
Yeah, I think the benefits of gamification are endless. I could come up with so many, but I will probably restrict it to maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think as teachers, what we want for our students is for them to become independent learners, where they can independent and lifelong learners. That is what we want for them. We want them to be able to, everything is today available on the internet, like you were just saying, everything is out there. It is just that they need to go there and pick up what is right for them. So I feel gamification is in the right direction because it helps us to get the student involved in a way in which that he could independently go through the entire lesson at his own pace. So that is something which I feel is one of the biggest benefit of using gamification in our classrooms. The second most important benefit that I would like to say is games by nature intrinsically motivate the students. It is not something they do it because I want to win that particular prize or I want to defeat that person and then I want to reach up. I think while we are playing a game, we are so involved that we are enjoying the whole experience of playing the game. So that is something that would be new, that we are trying to get the students to enjoy the lesson or enjoy the activity more than just reaching somewhere or completing a portion or just getting some grades. But the whole experience of learning is something that would be beneficial.
And also, I think that, when you're using gamification in classrooms, so if suppose today you've, teamed them up and you've made them play something, and today if one team has not won and the other team has won, so I'm sure it is there in the child's heart that tomorrow, suppose I'm going to have another round, I need to go a little better prepared for that game. I mean, I'm bringing the two together because, for in classroom teaching also, if we are using gamification, hands-on gamification. So, losing is, in a way, they are learning how to lose also, because that's also a very necessary skill in all of us. We need to learn how to take defeat as well, and to rise up from that. So every time when you gamify, everybody cannot be a winner, like you said, but still somewhere there is that hope for the child that, I've not won today, but I'm going to make it up tomorrow. I'm going to come well prepared.
True, so true. Yes.
Yeah. And sorry, you were saying something earlier, I think.
Yeah, I was talking about, then I would think the third most important, another benefit of gamification is, again, that as teachers, we would like to bring all this, we want all our students to reach the same level of I don't know how to put that, same level of knowledge in terms of, yeah, the concepts should be clear equally to all of them. So at least the basic level of expertise on a particular topic, we would like it to be the same for all the students. I think gamification is a way for teachers to realize, or to a confirmation, I would say, for the teachers that yes, all my students have definitely, by the end of this lesson, they have all reached the same level of.
Right, right.
So I think these are the three main
Yeah. I think that's
benefits.
what you said, and I would like to add a few, what I feel also, since it's more of, I am talking more on the in classroom gamification field, that, there's lot of communication between the children. So whenever I've done, lessons by gamifying those lessons and divided them into teams, if it was team based or strategy based, so it brings out so many different qualities of children who are, smart talkers, help the others in a different way.
Yeah.
Children who are smart with time, help their team in a different way. So there are all kinds of smarts that we have, right? You have the
Yes.
smart talkers, you have the smart, those who can strategize well,
Well,
who time well. So there are so many positives that come out when you gamify a lesson. And somewhere I also feel that, as you're gamifying, somewhere the teachers and the students become one, right? Because you become, one with them, and the fear that the children have to say something or, ask something is so much lesser in comparison to a regular, classroom scenario. If you imagine, where, those straight line desks, and, we're just, everybody is,
whole
kind of
classrooms,
feeling, yeah.
yeah.
So those are a few. And again, I feel the biggest, like you said, is making them responsible learners is a very big plus from gamification.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing that we all, as teachers, need to always remember is that the objective needs to be very clear. That the objective is learning with fun and not just fun. Because, gamification, uh, for it to
True, I
work
agree with you.
effectively.
Sometimes the name sounds like it's just fun, but it is definitely much more than just fun. Gamification is learning with fun. Exactly, you put
Yes.
it so right.
And that objective, as a teacher who wants to use gamification as a tool, needs to be very sure in a mind that that is what it is. Because if you don't remember that, then of course your class can go from where you wanted it to and to something else, and then you will probably feel that it did not work, whereas it would have worked. And I think you can design a few rules. You can, especially if you're doing in class games, then you can have few outlines that you give children. You give clear directives, so that they need to work within it. And since they want to play, I think they adhere to whatever rules you make, because they know that all games come with a rule book. And
Correct.
if you introduce the rules right in the beginning, I think it's easier to implement gamification in any class, right?
Yeah, I think that goes for both. Yes, for both of them, the preparation that you need, the background work that the teacher needs to put in is the same for whether
Yeah,
it is an online or an offline class.
absolutely. Yeah. So good, Nimi. I think I will undoubtedly say that you're the undefeated winner today, because you have aced all the questions that were put to you. You have given our viewers an amazing insight to the world of gamifying the lessons and how to make it so wonderful for children to become responsible learners, and at the same time enjoy your time with your children as teachers as well too. So I will say to our viewers that, please, keep that child in your life and game on, gamify your sessions and have a blast teaching your children. So thank you so much. Until next time. Thanks, Nimi. Thank you so much for being on air with us.
Thank you so much, Sapna.
Thanks a lot. See you. Bye bye.
Bye.